Oh no, hair algae, what am I gonna do? You know, a lot of people are concerned about that and they talk about it all the time, like, what do I do when I have hair algae? And yet it's not that complicated to resolve. To be honest, there's gonna be a little bit of effort on your part, me, my tank, right? And then you're gonna get some help from some snails. What I would like to suggest first is that we identify what we're dealing with. So I'm gonna kill the flows so you can see what's going on in this tank. Alrighty, as this water comes to a stop, you are going to see hair everywhere. I've actually been letting it grow on purpose in this tank just so that I could do this video because I wanted to discuss it with you guys. And then in the actual description of this video, you're also going to find at the bottom a link to my article about how to get rid of green hair algae. But I figure let's do some video about this instead of just something to read. So here's some hair algae that's taking over in the tank. And as you can see, it's blocking out corals that are trying to live deep down within, so it needs to go. It's everywhere. But that's on purpose. Look, it's even sticking off the front of that Vortex pump that I've turned off. Anyway, this is green hair algae, this is Derbacia, this is not Bryopsis, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of it using a very simple method. The first thing you're going to need is a bowl of water. This is just tap water, and it's just handy. You can use tank water if you want, but tap water works fine. And then, just to keep my hands a little bit free, I'm going to go ahead and clip it to the side of the tank. Let's make sure it's in the right spot. Alright, I have a dipping pool. I've got a tank full of algae. All you have to do is reach into the tank, grab some algae, rinse your fingers off in the bowl of water so they're clean again, reach in the tank, grab some more algae, and repeat until it's all gone. I've got it growing on a coral here, but you see how it came off very easily? There's a secret to why it comes off easily. I'll tell you that in a second. But by pulling it out of the tank manually, you are going to speed up the process of its removal. Boy, this is super easy to remove. I bet you're thinking, why is mine so difficult? So obviously I could do this for another 20 minutes until there's no algae left in this tank. I even got it on a poor snail. I'm going to clean him off real quick and then put him back to work. Him and his little buddy, the Astorina starfish. Alright, he's back at it. Alright, you get the idea. So here, maybe you can see there's some algae in that bowl. Real simple. Now, the secret ingredient to loosening the algae in the first place is to treat your tank with something called Phosphate RX. I've been using this product for a long time. There you go. It's super easy to use. You drip it into the tank. 6 drops per 10 gallons, and the phosphate in the water is removed by filter sock or by protein skimmer. I have only been using a product like this for 10 years. I tried GFO, it did nothing for me. I see everyone using it nowadays, and I don't use it. Don't have a reactor full of GFO. I literally treat the tank with Phosphate RX, I don't know, 3-4 times a year, maybe a little bit more if I do something wrong and overfeed the tank. But it's just a simple overnight treatment that will bring phosphate from whatever level they are, let's just say it's 0.25, back down to 0 overnight. Once the phosphate is out of the water, I can reach into this tank and I can pull off algae really easily because it's weakened. It's no longer holding on. Phosphate levels are high, the algae is going to be holding on really tight because it's growing, it's strong, it's thriving. Instead, make it weak, make it unhappy. And then you can just lift it right out of the tank and reduce the population of what's growing in your tank. But there's one more thing you need now. We've done some picking. I had treated to get rid of the phosphate to lower the level in the tank. And listen, if you have high phosphate, treat the tank and lower it, and then treat the tank again in a couple days and lower it. You can keep bringing it down gradually, or you can treat it all at once like I do. I've had tanks where phosphate levels are up to 3.0, which is super high, crazy high. If you're using a Salifert test kit, the vial, as I pour in the powder, would instantly turn blue before I even started to shake it. I knew phosphate was high. And that was because I was way overfeeding the tank. Another time I had an auto feeder just spin until the entire drum was empty, and all the food went to the tank while I was out of town. and I came home and there was algae growing. I thought, what's going on? And I saw the drum still spinning, totally empty, and I thought, wow, a month's worth of food in a weekend. So I had to treat the tank, and I brought the phosphates all the way back down to 0. You can take your time doing it, or you can be a little more progressive like I am and just get rid of it. I like to always dose Phosphate RX after lights are out, like around 11, 12 o'clock at night, and that way all the fish are asleep and in their hiding spots, and I just let the water turn cloudy. No one's swimming through it because it's cloudy, and by morning the water's crystal clear and all the phosphate is gone. Now that I'm done picking, I need some help. We need to go to the fish store and get some snails. Let's go! Snails! And give me that coral. Alright, we're back. We got some snails. Nice, Frank helped us out. Now these little guys here are ready to go, obviously. They just came from a store that has the same temperature as my tank. But if you needed to, you could float the bag of snails in your tank for a little while. And double check the salinity to make sure that the store has the same salinity as your tank. I tend to run my tank at 1.026. Some fish stores tend to keep the salinity lower, and you want to make sure, but Frank runs his store at 1.026 as well. Everything's a reef, super easy. So here are my new snails. I've pulled out the algae out of my tank, and I'm going to grab a few snails, and I'm going to put them where I need them most. I'm not just going to put them in the tank anywhere. You know, I hired these guys to work for me, right? So it's not just anywhere or just drop them in and let them crawl around. Put them actually on the spot where the algae is. Plant them there, and then check on them. And if they're not where they belong, pick them up and put them where you want them. If you just keep at this for a little while, for like a week or so, maybe 2, you'll notice the algae level completely drop in your tank to a significant amount of, or should I say, a significant less amount of what was there before. This algae problem is completely controllable, but it's going to take some effort on your part to get rid of it. So that's pretty much it. If you'll use phosphate control to lower the phosphate in the first place and get those numbers down, pull all the algae out you can with your hands by rinsing in a bowl of water, and then adding a cleanup crew of snails. And I recommend 1 snail per gallon. I always have. This is a 10-gallon tank. I bought 10 snails. Pretty simple solution. But if you are in a bigger tank, you're like, well, wow, I've got a 100-gallon tank. I need 100 snails. Yeah, you do. You could try some turbos. Maybe 1 turbo for every 2 astrias. If you don't like astrias, you can use Trocus snails, Seraph snails. They're all good guys that will help clean up your tank. You can put in other animals as well to help clean, but it really needs to be snails and hermit crabs. I like the red-legged hermits. I like the scarlet hermits. The blue legs, not so much. But if you'll put in a crew to clean the tank, you'll end up with a lot less algae. And listen, for all of you that are starting a new tank and had it running with your lights the whole time and you let all the algae take off and grow during the first few weeks, it's definitely time to put in a crew and get it under control now before it gets all invasive into all your corals. You want your tank to be nice and clean, and it's going to take a lot of snails. So either buy them locally from your fish store, get them online if you must, but whatever it is, you just can't sit back and expect some miracle that you can pour in a bottle that'll magically make it go away, because it won't. The stuff grows from nutrients, and your tank is being provided with light for photosynthesis, and you're putting in food all the time, and the fish are putting in waste, and that's a perfect area for algae to grow. Now my reef and my anemone tank, you never see algae in those tanks, or hardly any, because I have a cleanup crew. So make sure you have plenty of snails, and if you already have some and they're not doing the job, they're lazy. They're used to giving the food you drop in. Instead, I'd recommend that you buy some nice new hungry snails from the fish store. Those guys are voracious. They will take off in your tank and start mowing it down until it's all gone. Thanks for watching, and please be sure to click to subscribe, and there's another video coming out soon. Oh, hey guys. Yeah, I'm still pulling algae. You didn't think I could just do that in 10 seconds and it would all magically be gone, did you? No, I'm going to have to pull out for a little while and get it all out. The reason for the bowl, I guess I should have mentioned that sooner, is that you're trying to avoid the stuff from blowing around loose in the tank and taking hold elsewhere. So if you go ahead and pull it out and rinse your fingers each time in the bowl of water, you'll end up taking it out and keeping it out of the system entirely with every single pinch. So I'll just keep at this. And next time you see this tank, it should look a lot better. Or maybe you'll never see it again because I'm planning to build a new frag tank anyway. And that's going to be a whole new video series that I hope you'll enjoy. Okay, enough. Go clean your tank. Alright, you're still here, so I'm going to show you this. I spent about 15 minutes more picking off algae. And, you know, there's still some in there. But the 10 new snails will do the job I need. And like I said, it'll be gone soon. It already looks a lot better.